Hey everyone, I want to talk to you about something that I think could really help you out with your reselling business this year, and that is making sure that you strike while the iron is hot. Make sure that you are not procrastinating, that you stop procrastinating if that was something you were doing in 2019, and you grab opportunities while they come by because you don't know if you're ever going to get another chance at a similar opportunity like that in the future. I'm going to give you an example of something that happened today with me. I should technically say yesterday because right now it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to try to make this video as concise as possible because I do need to go to work the next day. But it's been a crazy day, and that's actually part of the story. Is that was my first day back at my full-time job after being out for about a week. And so just like any job, when you go back that first day, it's just crazier than normal because things have backed up while you're away. So I wound up getting out of the office around 6 o'clock. Now, just to rewind a little bit, on January 1st, I received a response to one of my Craigslist ads that I post that says that I'm looking for, items in certain areas for my reselling business, and the one that I, basically get the most responses to is my comic book ad, which I fill with all sorts of other items that I'm looking for as well. I show an example of this type of thing in terms of how to do this on Craigslist in a video that I did a few back. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, you can go back and check out that video. But I saw that a response to the email came in, and I dropped everything that I was doing. And the reason that I drop everything that I'm doing when I see a response to one of those emails that come through, because that is where I can get my materials to source, and I do not know if that next message coming through is going to be the one that's going to be the deal of a lifetime. You never know when that's going to come through. And so even though the last two people who had responded to my Craigslist ad were trying to sell me worthless junk, essentially, that didn't prevent me from opening up that next email, because you never know. And even if, and I've had this, where 10 of the prior responses or even more are just ones that either they're junky or they're just ones that won't work out for whatever reason. You have to just keep going at it and play the law of numbers, that eventually something is going to come your way that is going to be right in your wheelhouse. And when it does, that's when you want to act fast and you want to grab it. So my goal was to try to make contact with this person as quick as possible and work out the particulars with regards to price. As it turns out, this person was trying to unload a bunch of comic books, a long box of them, a pretty big box of trade paperbacks, which I do very well with in my business. There were other comic related and pop culture items like old shirts, new shirts, with comic book characters on them, or like Rocky. There were pin backs, there were hats, there were all sorts of things. And he really made it clear that he wanted to make space. That was his goal. So whenever you hear that, that's great. That is music to my ears, because that means that the price is usually going to be pretty good. He wanted 50 bucks for everything. I wound up getting everything for 40. At least that's what we agreed to in principle. But now you have to take the next step. You have to meet up with that person. It's all fine and dandy to make a deal, but it doesn't mean anything until you complete the deal. So my next goal is to make sure I get to him as soon as possible. Well, that wasn't obviously going to happen on New Year's Day, but the next time that that could possibly happen for me would be after work on January 2nd. So going back to that day, that was a crazy day yesterday, very busy. By the time 6 o'clock came, I was tired and starving, and I really just wanted to get back to Primetime Treasure headquarters and eat something, okay, eat some real food. There was a bag of chips that I grabbed from the vending machine to hold me over, but, really, what it's like when you're craving like a real meal, that's what it was like at that point. And to get to this person was 16 minutes in the opposite direction of where I needed to go to Primetime Treasure headquarters. I kept in touch with the guy over email and over text, and I let him know, that things were just kind of a little crazy, and I'd probably be a little bit late. And he said to me, that's okay, no problem. That was the whole point of communicating was if I was running a little late, we'd just work on, you know, advancing the time forward a little bit. And he said, yeah, it's still fine, just come on over. He goes, or if you want to, he said, you could just come over tomorrow, or we could just do it on the weekends. Now that sounds great in theory. Sounds great in theory, but what happens if one of our kids gets sick? What happens if I get a flat tire? What happens if I have some kind of emergency at work that's going to keep me there, you know, again, after hours longer than I thought that I would have to stay there? You know, what if Mrs. Primetime, my wife, really needed something and I had to go back, you know, towards her area? What if I had to pick up one of my kids somewhere? You just never know. Or what if he says, you know what, you know, no offense or anything, it's just business, but, you know, I had someone else who I had reached out to as well, and he told me he'd pay $50 or $60 on everything, so I wound up selling it to him. You know, that kind of thing could definitely happen. And just so you know, because I run multiple Craigslist ads at the same time that have similar types of themes and topics that I'm looking for, people who are trying to sell stuff will send their information to multiple people at the same time. They're not just gonna usually send it to one person, wait for a response, and then send to someone else. They pretty much blast it out there. So that's another reason why you wanna be quick, because you're probably gonna have competition in your area, so you wanna respond to it fast. And once you respond to it fast, usually the decorum is that once you've got that communication line open, the person will usually work with you until things break down, if they do break down, and then move on to the next person who started the communication. And that's another reason, again, why to act fast, because if communication breaks down with another you know, potential half who's making the deal, then that person might reach out to you if you were second in line. So you want to make sure you're responding fast, and then you want to get over there. So I wound up deciding, you know what, I am not, and I do this with all my deals. It's tempting to go back to Primetime Treasure headquarters and get a nice meal and, you know, just relax and just say, forget it, I'll pick up everything tomorrow. But I didn't. I went out, you know, strike when the iron's hot. And I am sure glad that I went, because this guy wound up selling me some amazing stuff for just $40. I'm going to show you an example of it in just a moment. I'm not going to go through every item, but you'll get an idea when you see some of this stuff. The reason why I was able to get such a great deal is because this person writes about the comic book industry, and so he's acquired a lot of reference material over the years, and some of which he doesn't need anymore because a lot of the reference materials are now digital, so he could get rid of a lot of his hard copy stuff. In addition to that, the comic book companies and other comic book related businesses wind up sending him a lot of stuff for free, promotional items, things like that. He acquires stuff at you know, conventions and things that he winds up getting, and people just give him stuff. So he's just acquired so much of it that he doesn't have the space for it. And he said that he keeps accumulating this stuff, and it basically gets to a point every 3 to 6 months where he says he has to offload it. So I gave him my business card, of course. That's, again, striking while the opportunity is right there. Get that business card in, try to make that connection, you know, make some small talk and stuff like that. And, you know, he said that in the future he would reach out directly to me and see if we could just make a deal rather than him trying to find somebody again. So, you know, who knows if that'll happen, but at least, you know, you got to put yourself out there, and that gives you a better shot than if you don't do that type of thing. But just to show you a couple things here that I wound up getting, this here is a nice example of a metal sign, this Green Lantern one. Mrs. Primetime thinks I should keep this one, but I'm probably going to sell that. There was lots of cool pinup art and posters, so this would be an example. There were some that were signed, like this one here is a limited edition that was signed here, and so that is a cool piece as well. Most of them are in pretty decent shape. Some of them are in near mint condition. There's some that have like some creases and stuff, but nothing like really terrible. There's some giant posters, like, you know, this one here, which is really neat if you like the DC villains and the DC superheroes. So there's that. You know, there's big giant ones like that. There's also lots of different sizes. So You know, there's medium size posters, there's small size posters. A lot of it is DC related stuff. So there's Batman, there's Wonder Woman stuff, there's villains, there's the Joker, Justice League, you know, all that type of stuff. And I sell comic book posters at a really nice clip, and so I could tell you there's some good money in these promotional posters. Not only that, there's just kind of random things, like there's like a Flash hat, as you can see right here. There's, you know, winter themed hats as well. There's just like some miscellaneous stuff, like you know, Jay and Silent Bob DVDs. There's a whole box with like pop culture pinbacks and stuff inside of here. So there's all that. Then there's two big boxes filled with comic books and trade paperbacks, like this one here. I'll just give you a sense of the size, gosh, of this box. It's heavy. There's so much stuff in here. Like, you can just see how big this box is. And right there is an example of what's in there. Now, I'll just pull out some stuff from the top so you can see what I'm talking about here. Like, these are pretty neat. Now, there's nothing in here that's like super old or anything, but the stuff that is new is in really nice condition. Most of it is near mint, and there's some really nice sets in here, like these 100 pagers with the DC characters. So I really love these. I'm just flipping through them real quick so you can get a sense of what's in here. And when you put stuff like this together in a lot, this is how you really make good money. So like today, you know, I sold 50 Mad magazines for $155. And when you could cobble together a bunch of collections and stuff and put together these nice little lots for things that you sourced for low, you know, then you really can make out in these kind of situations. Not only that, not only was there that whole box of comic books there, but then on top of that, there's another whole box that's just filled with comic books, like hardcover comic books, like actual books, and trade paperbacks as well. So this box here, I'll just show you an example of how many books are in here. I mean, it's crazy to me that I got this whole entire thing for $40. And like, there's some really cool titles, like, and really cool books. Like, look at this Wonder Woman book right here. You know, that's really neat. I mean, that's just in really nice shape and really nice condition. There's like Guardians of the Galaxy books in here. Just some really neat pieces. You know, I'm looking at this stuff for the first time actually right here. This one looks like it's a Twilight Zone themed based book here. It looks like a Rod Serling one. It's a nice thick book, and again, really nice condition on these. This one here retailed for $22.95 when it came out. So again, $40 for all this stuff is crazy, but that's not all. There's more stuff, okay? This box right here is filled with pop culture and comic related shirts. So like, I'll pull out, you know, a few examples to show you. So like, here's a New Teen Titans shirt right here. So that one is pretty cool. I saw this one before. This one I believe is Starman. So I like that. Let me check the sizes on these things, see what they generally are. That's very good. These are extra larges, so you want to have those XLs. It increases the chance that you could sell them. There's also like, he also has like Rocky related ones. Like, so there's this Italian Stallion one that you could see right there. So we got the Italian Stallion, and then on the front of it, it says Rocky. So he's got some other Rocky things in here too. So I like that it's not just 100% comics. So what else do we got? Nice vintage one here as well. You could tell here, this has got a nice older tag on it. So I think this is a cool piece here. So we got that one. Okay, well, for all you Joker fans, this one here is really cool. I love this one in terms of overall look and feel. It's really soft, nice thin cotton. If you want to feel how soft it is, just put your finger right up there to the screen and you could feel it. Nope, right over there. You got to touch. Yep, that's right. Now just wiggle it up and down a little bit and you could. Yeah, see? Isn't that nice and soft? It's pretty neat. That's one of the things with the Primetime Treasure Hunter YouTube channel. If you didn't know, if you're new, we actually have advanced technology here where you could actually go through the screen and feel some of the items. On a prior video, I poured Don, the auction professor, a glass of water. That was pretty neat. You know, so there's just some pretty advanced things that are going on here, so you gotta stay tuned. You never know what's gonna happen next. There's a Superman shirt right here. I like this one. It's got a little edgy content there, with a little blood splatter on there, but it's all in good fun. So there's a lot of other stuff, but I'm just showing you a few examples of everything that is in this overall haul. It's crazy, and I was not going to leave anything to chance. Like I said earlier, strike when the iron's hot. The guy was motivated to get rid of stuff, but in other situations, you don't want to leave things to chance such that, you know, somebody could get cold feet and not make the deal with you. Or in this situation, someone could have come by and offered him more money, and he could have just decided, I'm going to sell it to that person for 50 or 60 bucks or something like that. So when you have a good opportunity that comes your way, make sure you go grab it. So I hope you think about that the next time something like this maybe happens to you. Think back on this video and then come back and let me know that you struck while the iron was hot. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, and my Instagram account. I've got a lot of stuff going on there in my Instagram stories and also in the regular part of Instagram where you see the normal posts come up. So go over there, check it out. The links to all these things are down in the description section, and I look forward to seeing you over in those other social media forums as well. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you have any questions or anything like that. And I'll see you back at the next video, everyone. Take care.